Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the second day of the Saraswat Vichar lecture series. As we approach the 115th Founders Day on March 2nd, this lecture series serves as a significant part of our celebration. I kindly request our principal to escort our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Ferdinand Sylvester, and our vice principal to join them on the stage. Please join me in giving them a warm round of applause. It is now my privilege to invite Ms. Gauri Nankoda to introduce our distinguished resource person for today's session, Mr. Ferdinand Sylvester.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our resource person for today's session, is Mr. Ferdinand Sylvester. With over a decade of rich experience, like 10 years he worked in this field. His domain expert in sustainability, climate resilience, and the circular economy. He has worked on several impactful projects, including waste management, coastal management resilience, and mangrove conservation. So currently he serves as the director of One Earth Foundation, and where he leads for environmental initiatives including Wave of Change, then marine conservation programs. His past roles include contributing to United Nations Development Programming and consulting on sustainability projects for cities, governments across India. In addition to his professional accomplishment, Mr. Sylvester is pursuing a PhD degree in mangrove and climate resilience from Vichar, and holds a master's degree in environmental engineering from Nanyang Technology University, Singapore. So we are fortunate to have his experience and expertise for us today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ferdinand. One more thing I want to add, like how we say, we are taking a break here, peacefully, as our soldiers are on border. They are defending for us. Same thing as we are breathing here in this environment. Few personalities like Mr. Sylvester, they are providing an environment which is a more purified for us. So that's a dedication and passion he's having in this mangrove conservation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. As a mark of our gratitude and respect, we will now present floral tokens to our esteemed dignitaries. I now invite Ms. Taksha Sakardandi to present a token of welcome to our respected principal. Vice Principal. I also request our Vice Principal to present a potted plant as a token of appreciation to Mr. Ferdinand Sylvester. Without further ado, it's my honor to invite Mr. Ferdinand Sylvester to deliver his talk. With his extensive expertise in environment and sustainability, he is here to guide us through an engaging and thought-provoking session. Sir, the stage is yours.
Water. Good morning, everybody. I'm for semester, and thank you so much for that introduction. So the thing is, like ma'am mentioned, I'm a student too. I'm just like all of you. I have classes and I have exams. So can all of you hear me right now? Or do I need to use the mic? Can you hear me? Yes. You can't hear me. Hello. Better? Hear me now? Alright. So today I have actually designed and made a special PPT for all of you. Considering that you are all studying in BBA, the business. So today we are going to talk about the business of unsustainability. So going ahead in life, you guys will probably work in businesses that will do the things that we are going to be talking about today. You might go in and become entrepreneurs, become business leaders, and probably design brand and business strategies. So I hope this is very relevant to you, and you can use this information, use this knowledge in your careers, both personally and professionally. So the business of unsustainability. So what is unsustainability? We know what sustainability means. Things are in balance. And when things are not in balance, it becomes unsustainable, right? So before we actually, deep dive into all of this, let's set some context up. So there is waste in our environment right now. Okay, everybody raise your hands. All of you raise your hands. Everybody raise your hands. Now, those who believe that waste is a problem, those who believe that waste is the problem, keep your hands up. Those who believe that waste is not the problem, put your hands down. Everybody's hands up. Think so. Yes, my hands are down because I don't believe waste is the problem. Waste is not the problem. Waste at best is just a symptom of the actual problem. So then what is the problem? Before we go into the problem, what is the model and what is that core principle that I believe is one of those guiding pillars of unsustainability? We'll get to that. First, let's look at some numbers, because unless we know some numbers, unless we have some data, unless we understand the problem, we cannot solve it. So these are some numbers I'm just going to throw at you because I can't comprehend these numbers. So we generate 6.2 crore tons of waste. 6 crores and 30 kgs of waste. Is this a number that we can even comprehend? But it's there in India. Fast fashion. Our clothes are basically plastic, if you know this. It's not cotton, it's not anything of that sort, it's all plastic. We generate 80 lakh metric tons, 80 lakh and 30 tons in 1 year in 2024. E-waste, we generate 17 lakh tons. Plastic waste, 19 lakh tons, almost 1 crore and 3 zeros of waste, of plastic waste. Numbers that I cannot comprehend. And what happens to all of this? This happens. In Goa, at least we know what happens. It comes down to our beaches, comes down to our rivers. This guy of meditating among waste, I don't know, I love this image. He doesn't care about the waste. But we need to care about the waste because the waste affects us, right? All this waste, it goes into landfills, it goes into the ocean, it gets burned. All of this comes back to us. Plastic, for example, microplastic is everywhere in our body right now. So it does matter to us and we have to care. This is the problem. Our model of linear economy. Linear economy basically is take, make and waste. It is designed in a way that whatever we consume goes to waste, it turns into waste. It has two main principles here. One, it believes that we have infinite resources and all of this waste that we generate can all be infinitely absorbed by our system, which is absolutely not true. The second thing it believes is that we have a very short time scale. For example, this won't affect me, this won't affect us, so let's go as it's going right now because it won't affect me as of now. So these are the two main problems that this linear model accepts in itself. So basically, we remove resources, we create a product, we consume it. It's a very important word, consumption, and then we dispose it. So in this model, inherently waste is designed. Like waste is designed in this model, so why are you surprised that there is waste? You should not be surprised at all, right? So of this model, who benefits the most? You're all business people. So who benefits from a model that goes take, make and throw? There's no reusing, there's no recycling, there's none of this. Who benefits from it? It's the people who make the products. The more you buy, the more the profit increases. More their profit increases, their growth, their whole business growth increases. So they make money. The people who have stake in the businesses make money. The government makes money. The government makes money off of the system, not the other way around. The government is supposed to work for us, they don't work for us. We make money off destroying the environment, destroying our health, which does not make sense, right? Business, it's all about the money, by the way, all of you. We are putting a small pause. Till now, do you have any questions? Alright, we shall continue. So, planned obsolescence. Obsolescence is one of the guiding principles of the linear model. Obsolescence comes from the word obsolete. That means something becomes obsolete. Cannot be used, cannot be repaired. Now it has to be disposed of. This is a normal thing that happens in nature. Like we become obsolete of something. After 70 years, I become obsolete. I get disposed of. And something new comes. My child will be probably the newer version of it. But obsolescence has been designed into our system. What does that mean? In our current business models, our products are designed to become obsolete. Our phones are designed to break. Our phones are designed to become old, doesn't work, and you have to get new phones. Our shoes are designed to tear faster. Our clothes are designed to fade faster. All this is designed so that we consume more, so that we buy more. But the only drawback is there's more waste. So this is what is happening right now, and this is not a new concept. This has been there for pretty much like in the 1930s. This has come into the model of production, obsolescence. This is the main, I would say, core of that whole concept. If it's not breaking, then you break it. That's how this whole business works, and that's why it is unsustainable. So this is an industrial designer who's also worked with the government, who has made this statement. Our whole economy is based on planned obsolescence. It's 1958, by the way. We make products, we induce people to buy them, and then next year we do something that make these products old-fashioned, out of date, or obsolete. It's a very old concept. It's probably something to do with the word capitalism as well. Example of obsolescence. I'm going to use phones as an example because all of us have phones, and I have a phone too, and I'll tell you more about my phone in a bit. Phones slow down after updates. Something of the phone will stop working. One of the things that stop working is screens. They have become so fragile now. So you had this joke is there on Nokia phones, right? Indestructible. So already come from there to phones now that you drop them once and the screen cracks. The batteries stop working, cameras get scratches. Or my favorite way of obsolescence is when they make it uncool to have something old. Something cooler comes. For example, fashion. That's why it's called fast fashion, right? Old fashion gets obsolete. You can't use it anymore. You throw that out and buy something new. So why does your phone get slower? Is it naturally supposed to get slower? What if I tell you that it is by design that these things are happening? How many of you have an iPhone? I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone too. This is an iPhone 5 SE, which is, I think, 7.5 years old now. So, this phone still works, by the way. Perfectly fine. No problem whatsoever. It has fallen, it has gone into the ocean, gone to the river, it has been forgotten in places, has been run over. Nothing has happened to this phone, by the way. 8 years old almost. But there is a design behind why things get obsolete. A conscious, purposeful, intentional design. This is a slide graph that I want to show you. This basically shows iPhone releases. And you see the blue line? The blue line, that the spike that you see is when people search on Google for iPhone slow or why is my iPhone becoming slow. So that spike is people searching for it. Can you see something? Can you see a pattern? Every time a new iPhone is released, that keyword increases. Every time a new iPhone is released, people's old iPhones become slower and they start googling why is their iPhone becoming slower. How is this possible? Is this a coincidence? And this is not now, this is happening from 2008 onwards. And it stopped at 2015, by the way. I'll tell you why it stopped at 2015 also much later. This is design. This is obsolescence by design. How have they done it? So basically, phones slow after an upgrade. That's point one. They slow your phone down after an upgrade, which makes you think it's slow. So now you have to buy a new one. Second, marketing. They market it such that the new iPhone is cooler than the old one. They drive purchase by making it cooler. You might have seen those amazing viral reels of people standing outside Apple showrooms on the first day of release. Huge lines, people who camp there for a week to get that first edition phone, the latest one. That's all because of perceived obsolescence. There are two kinds. One is actually physical, and the other one is sort of a mind game. But that didn't work. The reason why this stopped at 2015 is because in 2017, Apple got caught. So what they would do, they would purposely slow your phones down. And they would use the excuse that, oh, we just try to manage battery life. That's the reason. Through a software upgrade, they designed your phones to become slower. They got caught and they had to pay a fine of $500 million in the US. And the fine was such that the money would come to the people. So if you had filed a claim saying that my phone was affected, you would have got a part of that 500 million. You know how much people got? A lot of people put claims. They got $50, around $50 in their account for this. That's it. So first, they make us buy the phone. Like, we happily buy the phone. We throw money at it. But we throw so much money at it. The business of this is so good that Apple didn't even flinch paying the $500 million fine. They're like, okay, take it. Why? Because they are making trillions. What is $500 million for them? They also got caught in France. And after this whole battery gate incident, which was a huge news in tech circles, they stopped doing that. Or at least they are doing it other ways now. They have not stopped doing it because the business of obsolescence has not stopped. Just that they've got smarter at it. So one of the main keywords, I told you, remember, consumption is a keyword. Why? Because they purposely use the word consumption. When we consume something, we process it and then becomes waste. For example, we consume food, right? We consume food, we use what we want, and the rest of it becomes waste. Now, do we eat our phones? Do we eat our shoes? Do we eat our clothes? No. So why the word consumption? First of all, we have to remove the word consumption from the business models itself. It has to be used. Because when we use the word use, we can say reuse, reduce, recycle. All these words come into play once we ideologically shift from consumption, consuming, and consumers to using and users. Then we can bring in aspects of sustainability into the products, into what this does. That's one very important core principle that we have to change. How is that going to change? It's up to us, actually. Once you stop using the word consumption for these kind of materials, consumption should be only used for food, and that becomes bio-waste. For everything else, it should be used. The linear system then starts changing into a circular model. The linear model, which is take, make, waste, take, make, break, take, make, throw, has to change to take, make, reuse, recycle. So it doesn't go into waste. For example, right now we have consumption and use. Consumption for food, use for all the other dry items. Recycling, reuse, reduce, all of this counts. And then the manufacturing. All these products, once used, can go back to the manufacturing. But more than that, can we change manufacturing itself at its design level so we remove our obsolescence? Example, this phone, 8-year-old phone, obviously there's no technological problem here. It works perfectly, has all the apps, no problem. Only problem I have faced right now is the battery. So Apple doesn't allow you to change batteries, by the way. You know that? We see your battery to your motherboard, so you can't change it. Your battery starts getting lower, you have to buy a new phone. They have no other option. You can't repair it. You can't change your battery at all. So this phone is there, the tech is there. We just need to remove obsolescence from it. And this has been done before. It's not something new. It's not like, we have to invent something now. No. For example, there was a phone project by Google called Google Ara. Basically, it's a modular phone. It's two-key model. You have one motherboard which can be replaced. You can put in a module of camera or a RAM or a processor or a screen. For example, if my battery doesn't work, I can swap the battery out to a much larger one. If I want a better camera, instead of changing the whole phone, I can just get a module of the camera. This was tested, this was designed, and this was made by Google. This would have cut down phone waste. You know, in India, I think it's 150 million or 15 crore phones are purchased every year. Now with this concept, people wouldn't buy phones. At least I wouldn't buy a phone. I would happily buy this phone once and then keep swapping the modules. I don't need to change my whole phone just because I want a better camera, right? This is good, sustainable business. But it's not profitable business in our current model. How will people make profit? Will Google make profit? I don't think so. Apple make profit? I don't think so. Apple's whole profit system is based on buying new phones. That's why they are the first $1 trillion company, right? They have in a way perfected the obsolescence principle, the linear principles. Google shut this project down in 2016. It ran for 2 years. And Google was not the only one to do this. There was another inventor, another innovator called Dave Hackins, who also created a similar phone called Phone Blocks. None of them worked. They were shunted out in a way. Google, such a huge company, was not able to pull it off. So now we realize that how intrinsic this linear model, this obsolescence, is to the whole business structure that they've created. So how do we change it? That's all again all up to us. We'll get to that a bit. So right now, with unsustainability and sustainability being a talking point, why is it a talking point? Because now we are feeling the effects. Now it's no longer, oh, I'll do this and somebody else might feel the effect, I won't feel it. No, now we are feeling the effect, right? We have climate change, global warming, all of that is a direct consequence of this linear model. And the linear model follows obsolescence. But there are many companies, many innovators, many innovations, many entrepreneurs, many old organizations, many old corporates who are now slowly trying to become more sustainable. My favorite, because I do a lot of hiking, trekking, I'm an outdoors guy, my favorite is Patagonia. It's not an Indian company, it's a US company, and it was started by hikers and trekkers and adventurers and outdoor people. This wasn't started by a businessman. Patagonia is one of those companies that is trailblazing sustainability as their core business. Their business model is sustainability. For example, they have this program called Road Wear Program. They have repair cafes all across. Or if something of yours tears, like your apparel tears, your jacket tears, your shoe doesn't, has a break, you can actually mail your product to them. They will repair it to you and send it back. That is what is required. You don't need to buy a new shoe and throw out the old shoe. You have to repair our shoes. So I did my own experiment with all of these things. This phone that I had just showed you is an experiment. I am using this phone even though the battery is crap, just to prove a point. My shoe is a Woodland shoe. It's 5 years old now. It works perfectly fine. No problems whatsoever. So that means there are brands that make good products, but are we supporting them? There is all the possibility, all the design, all the tech that is already there to make products that last. But why aren't they doing it? These are the questions we should be asking a lot of people and also asking ourselves, because right now sustainability is the next big thing. For example, we have close to $500 billion coming into the sustainability field. Different brands are being forced to redesign their products to make it more sustainable. Sustainability is in right now. If you have an idea to start something in this sustainability field, there's no time like now to become sustainable. Unilever, very old organization. It's a multinational corporation. They are trying out refillable solutions. One of the first ones to do it. Fool is an Indian company. The founder is a friend of mine. So he works on the Ganga river side. One of the biggest wastes there was flowers. Though it's a holy place, it's also one of the dirtiest. All the flower waste from the pujas, from the temples, would come to the river and pollute it. So this guy has actually started his a company that takes that flowers and makes incense and other perfume items out of it. It's a small innovation, but suddenly it has totally changed the way Ganga itself works. We know how polluted Ganga is, right? This guy has actually gone and done something about it, and his business is flourishing. Again, this is all proving that you don't need to be unsustainable to have a good business model. Mahindra, Indian company, they have promised to go net zero by 2030. That means they will change their way they manufacture things. They will redesign the things that they manufacture so that they don't have to go back into disuse or disrepair, get disposed of. They are so invested, they're investing a huge chunk of their money into EVs. So these are some old companies. Food is an Indian company. And there are many examples of this. So my whole point right now to tell you is that it doesn't have to be unsustainable. Businesses can be made sustainable. We just have to apply our minds to it and also, more importantly, be there at the right time. And the time is right now. So what can we do? What can you, what can all of us do as people, as consumers? For example, of course, reduce, reuse, recycle, all those three things, very simple. The third one is to check in with your government, panchayat, your ULB, state government. As Goa, please see what is happening to Goa right now. Our beaches are just filthy. Where is a lot of space coming from? It's coming from the rivers, coming from us. Of course, the tourists are there, but then it's all generated right here in Goa. Can we do something about it? Can we enforce laws that say, okay, you cannot throw plastics out? Or, for example, a small thing. You know these pizza sachets, right? Sauce and all comes when you eat pizza. Why can't we just ban those things? Those things don't get recycled. Those little things like straws, these sachets, are one of the major contributors of plastic waste at the beaches. We do a lot of cleanups, we characterize, we clean the plastic waste that we collect from the beaches. We analyze what waste comes from where. Sachets, cigarette butts, straws, all these little things are one of the major contributors of plastic waste. Can we solve this? Actually, it's very simple. Single-use plastic bags. Can we ban it? Of course we can ban it. Is Goa doing something about it? Not really. Should we do something about it? Definitely. And it doesn't have to start from the state, it can start from our local panchayats. So I work with Panjim, for example. CCP has tried to ban single-use plastics for the longest of time. The corporation has tried to ban single-use plastics. This does not work. The Panjim market, if you go to, the shopkeepers will give you a free plastic poti along with their purchases. So is that a behavior change? Probably, yes. But then the government or the leaders, it's up to them as well to take a right decision, right? I'll give you an example. Bhutan. Bhutan is not elected, they have a king. But the king has decided, okay, now I'm going to provide employment and create businesses in Bhutan, which they did not do earlier. They were very happy with how they work. But now they are changing. So the king had a conference and he only said, if your business is sustainable, if you are net zero, if you don't create waste, then you are invited to set up your business in Bhutan. Such a simple thing, right? And suddenly, we have two advantages of this. One, of course, Bhutan still remains clean, environmentally good. Second, it gives opportunities for businesses that are sustainable as well. So the times are changing very quickly. That's how we are supporting circular brands. How do we support circular brands? Instead of buying something, for example, soaps, we buy soaps. Can we look into local businesses that are selling soaps without plastic, for example? Shoes. Can we pick up shoes that might be slightly more expensive but last you a decade rather than shoes that look good but are going to just get obsolete in a year? How many of you have gone to a cobbler? Ever? You got a cobbler? Awesome, man. You and you. Just two? Nobody else? All of you. Yeah, so Have you seen cobblers? How many of you have seen a cobbler? None of you have not seen cobblers, and it's not your fault. Cobblers themselves are not there anymore. Why? Because most people don't go to a cobbler. We rather just buy a new shoe. How much does a shoe cost? Like if you go to these new shops, Max is coming and then there's a studio. Footwear is so cheap. Would you pay like $1,000 to get a new pair of footwear or pay 400 to get your old one repaired? The cost difference is not that much, right? Just that only difference is the 1,000 rupee footwear is going to tear and break in a few months. But if you spend 400 and repairing your old good one, that will probably carry you forth for another year. That's the only difference. But yeah, cobblers are becoming obsolete. How do we change that? What can you do as people, as students? You are in the first year BBA. You are going to work in the area of business, in different aspects of business. Many of you might become entrepreneurs. I hope all of you become entrepreneurs, because that's how we change the system. When we try, we get there. And I don't mean entrepreneurs in the sense you have to start your organization. Think different, think out of the box, see what can be done better, what can be done in a more positive way, rather than just accepting the status quo. The status quo is unsustainable. The status quo is a linear model. The status quo is obsolescence. How do we change that? That's where you guys can come. When you start making your own products, maybe start working somewhere, can you bring in circular design? It doesn't have to be product design, it can be even psychological design. The way you market, the way you sell. Can you change that to be more circular? Can you yourself reduce waste by the things that you do professionally? So that's where you guys come in. So my whole idea today is to tell you guys that there is an intentional way, intentional design behind our unsustainable model. And it's up to us to change that, up to the newer generation. We have to come, we have to use our brains, we have to work together, we have to collaborate, we have to get the system changed. Because the old system didn't affect the old people. Most of them are out, they're out of the system. They have become obsolete, they have passed away maybe, or they stopped working, whatever it is. It's us right now who's getting affected. So it's up to us to make that change. Those guys are not going to make that change. We have to make that change. For example, One Earth Foundation is an NGO that has started. We do a lot of cleanup activities, we do workshops, but we also do something else. We create products from plastic waste. So the first image is of people. So we work with colleges, we work with other organizations. We create products from plastic waste that we collect. Now that is something that is a sustainable business model. We create benches, we create chairs, we create tables, we create floor panels and roof tiles, and this is the business that's working. Can we create something else together? Can we all create something else together? Maybe you have an idea. If you have an idea, I mean, I'm always open to help any of you with any ideas you have in terms of connects to government, connects to businesses, connects to funding. So, any of you have any ideas, do let me know. I'm going to help you out. No problem at all. So can we work together to do something? And that is what I want to convey to you today. So, thank you so much. Anything at all, feel free, either now or later, when you want. So, the big man, sir, has asked a question. how do we ban single-use plastics? So single-use plastics per se, technically below 50 microns is banned. It's banned. You cannot use it. You will go to jail if you sell that. But it is still sold. The reason it is still being sold, though it is banned, it is illegal, is because we don't enforce it. Who's going to enforce it? The government is going to enforce it. But who's the government? The government is us, right? We live in democracy. The government of the people, by the people, for the people. If we don't enforce it ourselves, why will the government enforce it? They will only do what we want. If they do something we don't want, we will vote for them next time, right? If they ban plastic, single-use plastic bags, and I go, oh, I want single-use plastic bags, why? Because it's convenient. Or as a business, I say, oh, you're going to close my business down, I won't vote for you. And the government collapses. The government will only do what the people want. And that is the tragedy of democracy. But that's another topic altogether. How there is unsustainability in government practices. Unsustainability is a very deep topic. I have a little bit of experience working in this field of sustainability, of climate, of circular design and waste. And there are so many different aspects to it. It's not just about the business, it's about the way, it's about the people, it's about the government, it's about the past, about the future. Why are we using so many resources? Now we realize, oh, we are using too many of Earth's resources, so we have to go outside to get those resources. Is this how we are looking at it? Is this the model of life? What is the philosophical problem we have with the model that we are creating, where we just want to create more and then make it into waste? That does not make sense in any way. Yes, sir. So that's one of the biggest problems why single-use plastics is still being used, why petrol is still being used, why fast fashion still exists, because it is the governments that have to come and do something about it. For example, in case of Apple, like I said, Europe and US fined Apple and made them stop what they were doing, made them stop slowing up phones down to software. So it is the government who has a big role, because most of the world is a democracy. Most of the world, the government, which is a reflection of us, has to do something about it.
Government cannot ban the manufacturing of the single-use plastic package.
It is illegal. You can manufacture, but you cannot sell it. You cannot sell it. A shopkeeper should not be carrying it and giving it to a client or a customer. This is all laws, policy, all this is there. This is an enforcement issue. Not enforced properly. Yeah. And since you're talking about plastics, so like I said, you're right, unsustainability is a talking point, and the entire global economy is going towards sustainability. In terms of plastic, for businesses especially, there is a new policy that's come in India. It's called EPR, or Extended User Responsibility, which means that all companies, organizations that create plastic packaging like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, HUL, we have to now pay for the disposal of the waste. So there are policies coming in. It is about us or the government and how they enforce it. Any more questions? Is there, so penalties are there, it's illegal, fines are there. Yeah, it's there. Enforcement is there, penalties are there. For example, in fashion market, there's a penalty for a vegetable seller to carry and give single-use plastic. That's still happening. Because the people who come to the market don't come with a bag. And then they expect a bag. So it's a chicken and egg problem. Who's going to take that first step? In a way, yes, correct. Enforcement. For example, it's Apple, right? They enforced it. Now Apple cannot do those things. Another thing you might notice, the charging cables, right? A lot of phones have different charging cables. Apple also has different altogether everything. So in Europe, they have made a policy saying that all cables, all the ports have to be the same. That's the reason now you see the C-type being common and being used across all things. Because that's a policy level thing. The government has come and said, no, this is what you have to do. You can't keep changing your ports and driving up business growth by making people buy new charging cables and new chargers. So what has Apple done now? To beat this again and to keep driving that growth of people buying new products, they have released wireless charging, right? So now your old chargers are obsolete to buy wireless chargers. And this is not a new tech, by the way. So I think this was in 2013 that I got a phone, Microsoft phone. 2013, mind you, it's more than 10 years ago. That had NFC and wireless charging. In 2013, Microsoft phone. Of course, that time it didn't work out. Microsoft closed down. But the point is, the tech has always been there. Just that businesses use it very smartly to keep driving business growth.
Somewhere between relate the fast fashion and the increasing amount of waste and unsustainability what we are talking about. To a major chunk of consumers, which is in the young age groups. And related to that, since we are in the field of climate change, based on your practical experience, do you visualize any solution or any action which can be initiated at this level for this young age group? Whatever next strategies are a part of this foundation which is working with the knowledge of the process. So, the behavioral change also what you spoke about. So, when we talk about the consumer side and the corporate side, yes, the corporate, some of them might be taking some action. But if you look at the numbers, there's a vast difference there. When we talk about the numbers of consumers and the number of corporates. So, the major action has to come from the consumer, the behavioral change. Again, in that consumer, if you see, the most influential is the young age group. So, we are part of this gathering at this level.
Yeah, sure. So this is what I have seen personally. Like, we are getting smarter. Like, you guys are smarter than the people 5 years ago. It's a generalized pattern. Not smarter in the sense more intelligent, but you have a lot more knowledge. You have access to knowledge. You have access to things that people earlier didn't have. That's why you have that extra bit of knowledge smartness in you. One thing, ma'am, what we can do right now is, like I said, there are two types of obsolescence. Yeah. So one thing, very simple thing we can do is break that second one. Don't fall for marketing gimmicks. Don't fall for things that are cool. What we can do is we can redefine what is cool. We can make sustainable products cool. We can make it cool to have a phone that is 10 years old. We can make it cool to have shoes that are 5 years old. That is something we can do right now as people who are not working maybe at those levels, but who still have a lot of power in terms of what we use and not consume.
Any questions from you guys? Yeah. You were talking about electric vehicles. Do you think that they are actually better? I mean, when you talk about manufacturing the batteries, right now there's a lot of batteries that takes place, a lot of gases that go in the air. And at the end of the day, is it more sustainable and on the track?
Cool. So right now, driving an EV, electric vehicle, is worse than driving petrol vehicle. It's worse. But that is the way forward. The reason it is worse is because we are stuck in that old system of petrol. The whole system is designed for petrol. That's the reason right now EV has a bigger carbon footprint than a petrol vehicle. And it's not because of the manufacturing. One of the major drivers of this is most of our electricity for EVs comes from coal, which has a much higher carbon output than petrol. So EVs as of now is bad. But what if we can combine EVs with renewable energy? You can't combine renewable energy and a petrol vehicle, right? Impossible. You have to use petrol. You have to use fossil fuels. But can we combine renewable energy with EV? Then will it become better? Yes, of course. But for that, we have to start now. We have to revamp the entire system. We have to break it. We have to break this. So what they have done earlier, they would break, but now we have to break. Like we have to break the system that is there to change it. And in that breaking, there might be some sort of areas where, like you mentioned, EV. Right now, it's bad, but we have to make that shift so that in 10 years, you don't have the problem of fossil fuels. Is that answer?
I mean, it would take a lot of funding and research.
Yes. Like I said, $500 billion is coming into our business markets to make it sustainable. So part of that is going to change the logistics of EVs. How can we make better batteries? Can we move past the Can we make batteries that are a lot eco-friendly? So that all this is happening. Research is being done on better battery tech, on better conversion of renewable energy, power energy into EVs. Research is happening. All this is being funded by this. And unless we make that change, EV right now is unsustainable. But let's all buy EVs so that there is a forward push towards sustainability.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us. Your knowledge and expertise have been truly invaluable to us. As a token of our appreciation, we would now like to present you with a memento to commemorate this special occasion.
I need one help from all of you. One small help. So basically this one is an NGO that me and a few of our friends have started. We work on marine conservation, we work on mangrove restoration, we clean up beaches, we clean up rivers, we clean up the mangroves using kayaks. We also create products from plastic waste. So a lot of these things are being done by us, and it's a new organization, just started. I need your help to join us in our activities. Help us, maybe you can intern with us if you want to see what is the business of sustainability. You can just join us in our cleanup activities. You can join us in our behavior change program that we do. For example, we go and we have a program in Vichar market to stop the use of single-use plastics. So any of you have any interest in any of this, come talk to me. I think my number is there with lecturers. And one help I want to do is please follow One Earth Foundation so that you are kept up to date with our activities, and also it helps us increase our outreach and get more people involved in things that we do to make this world a better place. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, sir. We are truly grateful for your time and guidance. As we conclude today's session, I now invite Mr. Akshay Ramnath to deliver the final words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Strive for a more sustainable future. Let us reflect on the words of world-renowned biologist and broadcaster, Sir David Attenborough. seems to me that the natural world is the greatest source of excitement. It's the greatest source of visual beauty. It's the greatest source of intellectual interest. It's the greatest source of so much in the life that makes life worth living. I would like to begin by expressing our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Bertie Sylvester, our esteemed resource person, for sharing his invaluable insights on sustainability and unsustainability. Your expertise and time you have dedicated today have profoundly impacted us, and we are truly grateful for your work. We extend our sincere thanks to our principal, Professor Santosh Patkar sir, and our vice principal, Associate Professor Smriti Borkar ma'am, for their continuous guidance and support. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Cyril Godino ma'am and Dr. Shobha Parikar ma'am for their mentorship and effort in making this program a reality. Lastly, big thank you to those who have contributed in this program to making it a success. And of course, all of you in the audience, thank you for your attention and active participation. Let us take forward the knowledge shared today and work together towards a sustainable future.
Good.